Hey guys, and welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. Today we are going to be making a graduation cap topper. So we are going to start off in Canva and we are going to go to create a design, go down to custom size, change the pixel to inches because shall we know inches. Put 8.5 by 11 because that's the standard printer size, and create new design. And boom. So now we're going to go over here to elements. And we are going to go to frame. And we're going to choose a square. And we're going to make that square 8.5 by 8.5. Just like so. And then we're going to go back to elements and go to shapes. Pick a circle. And you want your circle to be, and this is where that little, little topper thing is on the hats, and you want your circle to be about 0.8. I know it's like 0.75, but child, we just about to do 0.8. And then you want to make sure that you turn it white and center it just like so. So now let me tell you, this is a topper. Even though it's square, what you want to do is make sure that you're designing at an angle, because that's the way that the cap is. And the way for me to make sure that everything is even, I go into elements and I get a line and I try to put it like right in the center. And so whenever I'm designing my images, I try to make sure that it lines up with that line right there, so that I know that it's somewhat centered, because with the caps, you have to design at an angle. So it can be a little tricky, but the line definitely helps with that. And boom, now that I have it centered, I'm going to make sure that I put it to the back so that it's not necessarily in the way of anything important. And then we're going to lock both of these things in place. Now I'm going to go back to projects, because remember, we are designing for little Tyrone. Tyrone Brown is getting a whole bundle. So I'm just going to go back to whatever I had originally for Tyrone. That way I have all the designs, all his photos, and all of that. So I'm going to go to basketball, and I'm going to scroll down to find my background. You can also use elements to create your background, use AI to create your background. Canva does have an amazing AI generator. You just have to be precise in your prompt so that it gives you exactly what you're looking for. So this image blending bottom was created using that Canva app, Image Blender. And, because I cannot stand a blunt cut on anything. So just be sure to go to apps, go to Image Blender, and blend those harsh bottoms. And so right now I'm just gathering all the images. I did add another page, blank page. That way I could put everything on this one page that I'm using, again, to make it easier when designing. That way you don't have to keep going back and forth looking for what you want. And we already know pretty much the theme of Tyrone's cap, because his stuff is just, it needs to be cohesive. So I'm just looking for all of the items that he has. He did send me a couple more pictures the other day, so that's what I'm looking for right here with my uploads. And here they are. It's him in some regular plain clothes. Child, I created these in Gemini. But he looking real nice, because I wanted to switch it up. We didn't want him just in his little basketball stuff anymore. And so I created that image in Gemini. I did use Misha Nicole's prompt to create the 2026, as well as the congratulations and the Tyrone. So right now in Tyrone's, in a couple of his stuff, he has Polaroids. So I did go to the wrong style. I looked at the wrong thing. What you want to do is go to elements and you type in Polaroid, and the Polaroid frame will be right there. So that's what we're doing. And I know he had this little burst, little dot burst type looking thing. So that's what I'm pretty much looking for. But I don't know what it's called. So I just put dot splatter. And that's still not what it's called. However, I would just go to one of his, boxes that I did and get what I'm looking for from there, as well as And then I'm going to go back to elements and I'm going to get that basketball that we use for him. And this one is not in, the basketball that I use is not in graphics, it's in photos, because I want to use more realistic kind of basketball. So now all we're going to do is drop our background in, and we are going to adjust it because it has to be that on that diamond shape, and we want it to be centered, and that's why we have that line. And I duplicated the page, that way I can put the basketball background that is image blended. And then now we're going to lock those in, and then we're going to put this 2026 at the bottom. Now for me, that's where I wanted it to go. If I was making a bigger cap, because this is the 8.5 size, but they do have a 9.5 size, and for that one I would definitely make that on an 11 by 17, 11 by 14 sheet, and I would probably make the 2026 go a little bit off the cap. Like, we want to switch it up a little bit, make it real cute, but this is still going to be cute, but sometimes I could be a little extra. And now we're just setting the elements where we want them to go and making it look cute. So like this part, with any designing type of merch you're doing, design you're doing, template you're doing, whatever, it's all about trial and error. You definitely want everything to look nice, cohesive, and balanced. You definitely want to add texture, and I do think this little splatter definitely adds maybe like a touch of texture, because of the dots. Even though he has dots in the back, the yellow just like lets it pop a little bit, and I do like that. So everything is basically like putting things here. Oh, I like that. Oh, I don't. Putting something here. Oh, I like that. Oh, I don't. So it's just trial and error with designing. So you just use your imagination. And I've been liking to have a theme. That way I know what I'm doing, versus just sometimes I wing it, and winging it might take a minute until I get the idea, oh, let's do that. So it's just, but these caps are super easy to make, and they're super fast, and that's because they're small, and we already have the idea what we were doing, because we are keeping in that same style that Tyrone Brown has for his other merch, which we've done in the previous Tutorial Tuesdays. So now we're just going to set that ball right there where that 0 is, and we cannot forget to go to text and add that class of, because they need to know he is class of 2026. And we're just going to set it on top of that ball. Shrink it down a little bit. And then we're going to change the font to the font that we have been using, because again, we're trying to be cohesive and matching the other, what do we make? Fan, yard sign. So we're using that, what is it? Oh hell, what is this font? I keep calling it Kingston, but I think it's Kingsman. Kingsman font. And then we're going to give that outline because we need it to pop off that orange. And now we are going to add the text. And the text that I'm going to be using for this is, what is it? Balling into my future or something like that. Which really goes with his little basketball theme. Yeah, balling into my future. Which is a cute little saying for little Tyrone, because he's been balling his whole life, and he might be going to the leagues. So this definitely fits his whole style and vibe. For this text, I'm going to be using that Sports World font, which definitely goes with it. And of course, I like that good old layering. So I'm going to come and I'm going to add that outline, and I'm going to make the outline that mustardy yellow. And it was definitely not giving the yellow that I want, so I just grabbed that Doppler and I tried to get a yellow that was closest to. For some reason, my Doppler always goes to the end, or I don't know, but it always gives me an off color. So I had to adjust it, and now I'm going to duplicate again, go to effects again. So now we're going to come back and we're going to add that outline, and then we're going to make the inside white. That way it pops. And we didn't add an outline. We add that, that backdrop looking thing. I forgot what it's called. And then I added a hollow outline and turned it blue and placed it on top. grouped it all together, and now we're going to put it right here. Now the hat is, you only have a certain size and space for this hat. And so we're just doing the best we can. We got to shrink it in because we want it to all fit, but we don't want it to look ridiculous. I totally forgot to mention that due to the fact that this hat has a hole in the middle, whenever you're adding an image, you want to make sure that it's big enough to where it's not on the face or disrupting, cutting out any type of main image that you want to be seen, any type of wording or whatever. So you definitely have to make sure that you're designing around that. So thank you so much for tuning into Tutorial Tuesday, and I will see you next week. Happy crafting!